We're getting to see you here now on Hacks. How was your
Got it.
character? Let's get that out of the way. We're seeing you here now on Hacks. How was Damien originally described to you?
Damian was originally described exactly the way that you see him in the show. I mean, I think that for me, I read the breakdown of the character when it came through for the audition, and I remember calling my agent and manager respectively and was like, I don't know what you need to do or what I need to do to make this happen for me, but you need to get me this job. I need to have this job. I mean, it was also, of course, when I read who was already involved with the show, who had created the show, I knew that Damien as a character, although not featured like so much in the first season, is well thought out and is intentional. And I knew that just by seeing that Paul and Lucia and Jen were involved in it and had written the show. So I knew that Damien was going to be really fun. I also knew that I wanted to work with them. And so, yeah, I mean, what you see on screen of Damien is exactly how it was presented to me originally.
Is there much room to improv when it comes to the scene work that you get to do for him?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't think that I necessarily took as much advantage of like the freedom that Paul and Lucia and Ben wanted us to have in improving because I was just so nervous. I mean, they're such and also working with kind of improv masters like Hannah Einbinder. I was just like, I don't really have anything else to like, you know, to present, or like with Caitlin Olsen or something. It's just like I have nothing else to give. I just wanted to. I was in awe of just being in the situation. Honestly, I wasn't even really thinking about improving.
Talk about getting to work with iconic actress Jean Smart then.
It was, I mean, it was a dream. Anytime that you get to work or have the privilege of working with any icon, I mean, I was, or a living legend, it is truly it's not lost on me, nor should it be lost on any actor that has that opportunity to just kind of take a step back and like watch this person work. And I think that one of the most lovely parts about Damien is that like it's a lot of reaction acting. So like I didn't really have the burden of having to memorize too many lines. So I really did have a chance to like just take a step back and like watch Jean work. And also the character of Damien is so kind of in awe of her. I at least that was kind of a choice that I made, was like he obviously is obsessed with her. And so again, a choice that was very strategically made on my end to be able to stand back and watch her. Um, when I was doing Ugly Betty, I had the opportunity to work with Judith Light, and so that was um, another living legend, another fantastic, just truly unmatched actress that I had the opportunity to work with. And although I was so young at that point that I don't think that I took as much of the opportunity to like really take a step back and watch someone work. And so I really tried to take more of that time watching Jean. And she's also just like the kindest soul, and just so hardworking, and really, I mean, obviously is the star of the show, but truly um is a class act, a true class act.
You have some great comedic moments though. Even in the episodes that, you're obviously not the focus, but there's just
Mhm.
some one-liners that Damien has that just leave you in stitches. Is
Oh,
comedic
thank you.
timing something you've always had, or have you had to work at it?
Um, I mean, I think that, it's hard because I think that, there are certain aspects of, you can teach someone how to act, but I think it's very difficult to teach someone how to be funny. Um, or what that timing is. So I think that for me, it's always surprising and lovely to hear people say that I have great comedic timing, but I don't think that um, that it's something that I've really thought that much about. Um,
You're not really conscious of it?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm conscious of, being on camera and taking the opportunity every time that you're on camera to play your character, right? Like to be in character. But as far as like comedic timing, I think that it differs based on the character that you're playing. I think that with Damien, I think that I'm just like conscious of the fact, like again, he was always kind of looking towards Deborah or towards Marcus. Like he was, and so the kind of I don't sort of distaste that he has for Ava, for example, kind of just came naturally like through the writing and like through what Damien's actually doing. So like I think that it wasn't, I don't think for me a conscious choice that he dislikes Ava, but I think that very quickly I learned that like, oh, he's just like, who is this new girl and like why is she here? And I think that that's part of like what makes Damien so funny is his distaste for Ava without really saying that he doesn't like her, at least for me. Um, yeah.
The series has gotten so much love on social media. What are some of your favorite moments or even your favorite episodes of Hacks that you filmed?
Well, oh gosh. I mean, I think the first episode is really amazing just because I think that the writers did such a fantastic job of introducing both Jean and Hannah's characters, Deborah and Ava, in their disparate kind of positions. And that first, the scene of them when Ava goes to meet her, to meet Deborah for the first time. And Ava says something like, it's great that they let you live in a cheesecake factory or something. Like I thought that that was just so fun. I mean, I just love their relationship as Ava and Deborah. I also love their relationship as Hannah and Jean. So like there is a special place in my heart of just watching the two of them work together so like fluently, I mean, it just felt like, I was there on the first day that we started shooting, the first day of shooting the series. So and just to see them interacting, I'm sure that they had plenty of chances to speak and whatever before, but just speaking to someone and then acting with them is a completely different
Right.
experience. And I just think from the jump they were so fluent and with each other and so generous with one another, and it's really been incredible to watch. But episode 7 that's coming out, I think this Wednesday,
Mhm.
um the second or something, um
Yes, Wednesdays.
is yeah, the second is one of my favorite episodes because I got a lot of I had a lot more time to actually play in and you got a little bit more of a chance to like meet Damien and kind of get kind of more of a vibe of like who he actually is, which you could probably discern from the episodes before, but this
Right.
really hammers it home. And I also, am such a huge fan of Caitlin Olsen. Like she's one of probably like my top 3 favorite comedic actresses. That I've watched like on television. I mean, The Mick and of course Always Sunny are 2 of my favorite shows. So when I saw that she was playing DJ, I obviously was like freaking out. And
Right.
and I just think that this episode is like, I mean, her as DJ is amazing. But I think that this episode is really, there's a lot of dimension to DJ that is revealed, and I find even more so, and I just think that like this episode 7 is an episode where like all of the disparate elements and disparate storylines kind of converge into one. And I also getting a chance to work with Rose, who plays Josefina, who I grew up with watching on That's So Raven. Okay, deep cut. But and getting to work so closely with her, I mean, all of my scenes that I did in that episode were with her, and she also is just such a class act, such a, you know, a talented actress, and so generous, you know. And so that was just really, you know, it was lovely. I mean, it was just a fun time. I think it was the most fun that I had shooting the episodes that I can recall. I think it was so fun to see everyone kind of converging onto the set at the same time, essentially. Um, you know, we all got to like sit in the green room together, and like, and it was like all of us, you know, it was like 14 people or something. So it was like, it was lovely. It was awesome.
Well, I love that you and Bailey are becoming the new Paris and Nicole. Um,
We
how's it
are.
going becoming a beauty influencer?
Well, you can actually see more of Mark and Bailey on our Instagram at Mark and Bailey, where we released actually 5 episodes, 5 short episodes. So the beauty influencer one was just the first of 5. And, you know, it was an idea that we had in the beginning of quarantine. It was right when we had locked down, and obviously Olive Bailey obviously is a writer and an actor himself, and so all of our prospects at that time were kind of put on hold, and we converged, and we're just kind of like, you know, we convened, and we're just like, what do we do to stay creative? Like, how do we do this? And we ended up writing a pilot, um and that, you know, we're still working on right now. But we were like, you know, okay, so we have this pilot and we're editing this pilot, but like, you know, we've never acted together. We've only walked around in circles around a kitchen table and like read the dialogue aloud, you
Okay.
know. So how do we put this into practice? And the idea of a web series kind of just seemed natural. And you know, we shot all of it. We shot 5 episodes in, you know, 6 days at Bailey's house, Bailey's beach house. And I and tasked all of our friends, including the great Caitlin Gleason, to play Gal, and film all of it as well. And just called in like a bunch of favors, like for all of our friends to kind of like come down to the beach and like do ridiculous things that we wrote for them to do. Um, Namely that of, you know, Caitlin and Miles McMillan, and so, you know, it was just, and it was just a ton of fun. I think, you know, it was fun to be creative. And then when we actually like took a step back after we had edited it, we were like, oh wow, this is actually really good. Like, we kind of wanted it to originally just be a kind of a proof of concept for the pilot, but then we were like, we should release this. Like, this is really, really good. I think that this is funny. These characters are so horrible and stupid and like just and mean, you know? And I think that like, well, Mark is at least. And I think that you know, it was just a really fun kind of exercise that turned into an actual, you know, an actual thing.
A viable option.
Yeah, that people are receiving. So that's really great. And I'm happy about that.
Are you busy working on any other projects recently?
I am working on a new project starting soon, but they haven't announced it yet, so I don't think that I can say. Um, but yeah, it's coming. We start shooting really soon. But I don't want to I don't want to upset
That's all right.
anyone.
Don't
So I
cross
won't
any
say it
lines.
yet. But yes, I am going to be working on something else. Yeah, coming out later this year.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on the incredible work you did on Ugly Betty. What did you personally take away from your time working on such an iconic and special series to so many?
I mean, I would say first and foremost, my friendships. I mean, you know, uh, Ana Ortiz is my best friend to this day.
Okay.
We see each other at least once a week, like no lie. And we actually just, America and Ana and I just kind of had a little reunion at America's house and had dinner and some wine and caught
That's
up.
me,
And, you know, it's
baby.
been really difficult, obviously, with the pandemic and the last
Right.
year and our respective work that, you know, we've tried to be as safe as we possibly could. But it was nice to be able to, when Anna and I were both working, you know, and getting tested twice, like twice a day, every
Mhm.
day, PCR, you know, this and that we were like, and kind of being so insular that we were like, well, we can like see each other, right? Because we're like, you know, we're all getting tested the whole time, you know. So Anna and I actually spent a lot of time together during the pandemic, which was a
Good.
huge saving grace for me. Because she has like she became from the very beginning of Ugly Betty kind of my biggest cheerleader and like my biggest
Mm,
teacher, and also treated me not as a child but as like a fellow actor and as a colleague. And so it endowed me with a lot of confidence in the wake of, you know, from 2006 to 2010 playing, you know, a gay child on television or someone that was perceived to be gay, um, wasn't really like a thing that was happening that much,
right.
especially in relation to kids. So, you know, now it's so much, I mean, great. I'm grateful that it's so much more commonplace and kind of like not as much of a thing or a taboo, but it was at that time. So it was very, I think, you know, what I take away from that experience is feeling safe. You know, I mean, of course, you know, we could talk about the work and like the work itself, but I think that on a personal level, you know, having powerful people on your team, you know, having Vanessa Williams, you know, go to bat for you is a pretty cool fucking thing, you know.
What would you like to say then to everybody who are continued fans and supporters of you and the wonderful work that you do?
I mean, God, thanks. Gee, I don't really know what else to say. Thank you. I mean, you know, this is what I love to do, and I think that, you know, and playing queer characters brings me so much joy, and as a queer person, it brings me so much joy to be given the opportunity to play these characters, especially now moving forward, as I said, like, you know, that it isn't 2006 anymore, that it's, you know, being out and proud and loud about it is very much, you know, embraced. And that's, you know, that's the beginning, middle, and end of it. Thanks.